When you see videos of a massive fireball erupting from a billion-dollar energy project, it's easy to focus on the immediate chaos, the smoke, the emergency crews, and the localized damage. But the fire that just tore through a coke warehouse at Mexico's Dos Bocas refinery is more than just a local industrial accident. It is a loud, alarming signal of a global energy system that is running without a safety net. To understand why this matters to you, whether you're tracking global inflation or just the price of gas at your local station, we have to look past the flames and into the structural fragility of the world's fuel supply. We are living in an era where the buffer is gone. Every time a major refinery like Dos Bocas hits a snag, it isn't just a blow to Mexico's pride. It's a direct hit to a global refined product market that is already stretched to its absolute limit. To put this in context, you have to understand the sheer weight of expectation resting on this facility, also known as the Olmeca refinery. For years, the Mexican government framed Dos Bocas as the ultimate symbol of energy sovereignty. It was supposed to be the project that ended Mexico's embarrassing reliance on American fuel imports. But that dream came with a staggering price tag of $21 billion, more than double its original budget. Now, after years of delays, the reality is setting in. Building a refinery is one thing. Running it safely and efficiently is another entirely. This latest fire is the second major incident in less than a month. In March, 5 people lost their lives in a different blaze at the same site. When you have back-to-back disasters at a brand new flagship facility, you aren't just looking at bad luck. You're looking at a systemic failure in operational readiness. The data tells an even more concerning story than the footage of the fire. Dos Bocas has a nameplate capacity of 340,000 barrels per day, but recent reports show it's only processing about 205,000 barrels, roughly 60% of what it was built for. When a refinery is struggling to reach full capacity and then suffers recurring fires, it suggests that the rush to declare mission accomplished may have bypassed critical safety and engineering milestones. For the global market, this underperformance is a massive headache. We aren't in a world where we have an abundance of spare refining capacity. In fact, between geopolitical tensions in the Middle East and shifting trade routes, the global refining chain is incredibly brittle. This brings us to the core of the analysis. Why a fire in Tabasco, Mexico, affects the global risk premium. If Dos Bocas fails to meet its targets, Mexico has to continue buying gasoline and diesel from the global market, primarily from the U.S. Gulf Coast. That keeps the demand for those products artificially high at a time when supply is already constrained by the ongoing conflict involving Iran and the threat of wider regional instability. Investors see a fire like this, and they don't just see a warehouse burning. They see a refined product risk premium. They see one less source of supply coming online to ease the pressure. It reinforces a bullish narrative for energy prices, not because there isn't enough crude oil in the ground, but because there isn't enough reliable machinery to turn that crude into the fuel that moves ships, trucks, and planes. We are seeing a broader trend here where energy nationalism is clashing with industrial reality. Governments around the world are desperate to bring energy production back within their own borders to avoid being held hostage by global price swings. However, as Dos Bocas demonstrates, these massive infrastructure projects are becoming increasingly complex and expensive to maintain. The margin for error has vanished. When you factor in the current geopolitical backdrop, where even the Strait of Hormuz is seeing unprecedented tension, every single barrel of refined product becomes a strategic asset. The fire at Dos Bocas is a reminder that the global energy transition is being hampered not just by a lack of investment in green tech, but by the physical decay and operational instability of the fossil fuel infrastructure we still desperately rely on. Looking forward, the consequences of this fire will likely be felt in Pemex's balance sheet and Mexico's credit rating long after the smoke clears. If the flagship of your energy strategy is plagued by fires and underproduction, the sovereignty you've bought for $21 billion starts to look more like a liability. For the rest of the world, it serves as a sobering question. If one of the newest, Most expensive refineries on the planet can't stay online without catching fire. How much trust can we really put in the stability of the global energy supply chain? We are entering a period where energy security isn't just about who has the oil. It's about who has the competence to refine it. As long as facilities like Dos Bocas remain volatile, the risk premium isn't going anywhere, and the world will continue to pay the price for a system that has no room left for mistakes.